Oh, everything's everywhere, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm cool with that.
Alrighty. Hey,
Wow.
there's the love. There's the love. Go ahead, Miss Lena.
Well, good evening, good evening, good evening. Thank you to all the bodies who turned out. I am Lena Unapologetic Lena, and this is my pilot podcast. So over here to my right would be the Vice President of Blast Media, and that is Troy Saha. And down below in our Brady box is D-Ray, the producer, musician extraordinaire.
Hey, yeah, that's already a 25-cent fine, because every time you use somebody's government name on this podcast, you know that's blast policy. You violating the NDA, and it ain't but 30 seconds. Go, somebody, let's go.
Somehow I forgot that. So let's do this. I'm ready to get into the topics. Tonight is a very special night because not only is it the maiden voyage of this podcast, but I'm very happy to say, overjoyed, that my very first guest is someone I've been a fan of for quite some time. And that is Rain Pryor, writer, actress, director, singer. What doesn't she do? We're going to get into that later. But first, before we bring Rain out, we've got some hot topics to discuss that I've been itching to get into. And these two guys are like my big brothers here. So, we're about to chop it up right now. Shall we start?
Sure thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, but before we get started, I just want to say to anybody in the comments section, if you're watching and you are from West Charlotte High School, throw me up a WC. Throw me up a WC. If you went to Winston-Salem State University, throw me up a chew tobacco spit. Don't put the rest of it, y'all know how it goes.
SU is in the building.
SU in the building. So fellas, what shall we get into? Because I'm dying to talk about that Freaknik documentary.
Do you want to start there?
Oh, yes, Lord. Let's start with that because that's going to be very interesting.
They found Auntie.
Oh, boy.
Why her booty got to be on my side?
Oh, boy. Well, I mean,
don't go that way. It was a nice booty, though.
I'm glad you appreciated it.
Oh, well, hey, I'm just giving her credit, But so, for those who are not in the know, Hulu is doing a documentary about Freaknik 94. Now, I didn't go. I wanted to. I was going to sell some T-shirts, but a good friend of mine warned me that it was no place for a young Black woman, even entrepreneur. And I may have had a good time, no regrets, but from where I stand, it was a good time for people. I want to know what you guys think, because on one hand, I see people who are like, look, that was the past, something I did 11 years ago. Don't judge me for something I did back in the day. And that's where I am with it. And then the other people who are now politicians and good church folks and mothers and teachers and whatnot, and they're worried about their reputation being sullied. So what say you, gentlemen? And let me know in the chat what you think about it. Hulu documentary on Freaknik. Bad idea or it's about to be good?
There was a lot of bad ideas that was released. If we can remember the R. Kelly video.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was ingenious.
Good point.
I mean, look, I agree with, the past is the past and people need to move on from that. Some people are like spots on a leopard don't change. I disagree. We all make mistakes, and some of us learn from our mistakes. And in 94, I actually moved. I was in Orlando, Florida for about a year. So let's just say that whole phase had passed when I moved.
Okay.
Now, prior to Mr. Rock and ourselves, we're just grateful social media wasn't around.
What say you, D-Ray?
I intend to get some popcorn.
Okay.
A comfortable chair, and watch all of the debauchery. Because Elliot Jackson says, I have no problem with Freaknik. Those Girls Gone Wild videos didn't hurt nobody. I'm about to get to that point. I'm really about to get to that point. In 1994, I was all about learning how to operate a studio. So I was so focused on that I I never went to any of those Black Biker Week, Freaknik. I never went to any of those things. So I think it's interesting that there are a lot of church people that are like up in arms now, because it's like, even one of our coworkers, colleagues, right? Even one of their exes inbox was like, "Hey, mama, you wasn't on that Freaknik documentary, were you?" So it's like
I've been looking for classmates, and I'm not mad at them.
Hey, so
I feel like I know her.
Right.
Live your life. That's all I gotta say.
They used to pick at me for not going. Ha ha ha! Who has the last laugh now? So
right. So I think it's pretty much a group consensus here before we move on to the next one. Freaknik, let the good times roll. I'm here for it.
No doubt.
But we do want that. We do want that Girls Gone Wild documentary coming up after that, though.
Oh yeah. I think Freaknik's might even win an award or something.
It just might. But you know what though? Before we move on, isn't it amazing how our folks sell things? The last thing that we got so excited over was a Popeye chicken sandwich, and they couldn't keep them. I bet you this is going to be the most watched documentary in Hulu history.
I'll take that bet.
Yeah.
I just hate that all those who've shared booty parts and other jiggling parts are not going to get some of the percentage. Gives me an idea for a TED Talk. Stay tuned next week.
OnlyFans TED Talk? What time does this start? Okay, next.
Can I make my money?
Make your money, sis. Make your coins.
So next up, I wanted to discuss going a whole nother direction. There was a situation where a teacher assistant was fired for jumping on a student. Here we go. Now, even though we cannot show the footage, for those who've seen it, or you can pretty much Google it, I want to know you guys' take on it. I'm going to start off by saying this. I can see both sides of it. As a parent, as an art teacher, I'm a part-time art teacher. I know what it's like. I work with Title I school youth, and it takes a special type of personality and patience to work with that population sometimes. There's a way that you approach them, those young people. That being said, I'm going to just keep it real. I feel bad for the sister, but from what I saw in the video, I would have approached it differently. The moment that young girl came over and tried to get her phone and she was in her personal space, that was when I would have called the principal or someone from the office, an officer, to remove her from the classroom. Because when you're in personal space like that, close proximity, it's a problem. That's something that my mother taught me as a retired principal. Young people a lot of times don't have the mental wherewithal to look ahead and see how the consequences are going to go down. So you as an adult sometimes have to take the high road. And if that means taking an L where you back down, then back down, because what happened was much worse. She's out of her job. And from the looks of the video, she beat that little girl down.
Okay, I'm going to go first this time. This video, and one just like it that happened here in the state of North Carolina, is the one reason why I am not a teacher. Because Danny would probably try to take a L and try to defuse. But Sinister Bastard, on the other hand, no. So that is why I'm not in the classroom. Kids today don't have the upbringing. Some of them don't have the upbringing. They don't know when to say when. They don't know boundaries, and for whatever reason, there is a lack of respect as it pertains from student to teacher. It was getting bad when I was in school. It is like much worse now.
That's right.
And for any industry where you don't pay enough people, you don't pay to get the good people. So now you're not paying to get the good people. So now you got medium to bad people with kids that don't have the best behavior. It's a recipe for destruction. So I hate it for both parties, but the old saying,
I agree.
You F around and then you find out. Yeah,
that's become part of my mantra.
Facts.
I'm gonna make a t-shirt on that too.
What about you, Veep?
The the sad part is, like you said, the teacher could have diffused the situation
a little better.
Not only losing her job, but her cheeks.
See, that's
all out.
Well,
you saw that too.
Yeah.
I got that as my laptop wallpaper now. I'm trying to go to Rocky Mountain, get her to sign my screen. It's like it's like, can I manage you?
It's bad enough you lose your loot and your privacy because
somebody's
all out there.
Hey, look, somebody called Luke in Miami. We have found you somebody.
All this penis energy up in here. Rain. I need rain.
Hey, all I'm saying, this is just like, go where the cheese is at. Make your dollars.
Unapologetically.
Use what you got.
And get on the desk and start making that money, man. I'm like, yo, real though. So what I'm saying is,
hey, we got to get this in before we get kicked out. So yeah.
Okay. All right.
I'm only here for one show, so
Moving on to another topic. On a nerd topic, this is one of the ones I absolutely love. For those who don't know, Pixar owns its very existence to one of the worst movies in history, Howard the Duck. That's right.
Howard the freaking Duck.
Howard the freaking Duck. That horrible 1980s movie that I think came from, I used to read it when I go on my dad's comic book stash, and I can't remember where I found it, but in comic book form, it was great. In the movie, I literally walked out. Thumbs all the way down. Hot stinking garbage. But the point is that George Lucas produced that movie, and he was trying to afford that big ranch. What is it? Skywalker Ranch?
Yeah.
Or something
Skywalker
like
Lucas Arts or something like that. Yeah.
Right. Rich Guy's Ranch. So he's trying to pay for that. And he made all that money from Star Wars to turn around and gamble on Howard the Duck because he just knew that was going to pay for this a mansion he's building. So it didn't. The movie flopped, and his good friend Steve Jobs comes in and is like, hey, I'll give you the money instead of you selling off all these assets. Come to me and give me the ranch because I want to do some type of CGI projects in there. I have this kooky idea of doing like animation outside of Disney. So next thing you know, Pixar was born. What do you guys think about that?
Go ahead, Vic.
That's just big money moves. Steve Jobs just dug in his couch cushions and said, hey, here, hold this. Because I'm telling you, shoot, what was that, like early 80s?
Mid 80s, yeah.
I was like 12 when I saw that movie, or 11.
It's like pocket change. George Lucas was in his rears very little for Steve Jobs to take care of that. But now, do you know how much Pixar is worth?
Millions. I guess my thing is that when I think about, who am I to tell George Lucas what to do? He's George Lucas. But from the outside looking in, I'm thinking, how did you not know that Howard the Duck was going to stink? That it was good.
Okay. Think about this. Star Wars, Return of the Jedi, Empire Strikes Back, Raiders of the Lost Ark.
All Lucas.
All of Lucas.
Brilliant.
Right? So by 83, 84, he's on a roll.
Good point.
You thinking at this point, I could do anything and it's going to make his money back. Psych. You didn't.
Yeah. Point.
So.
I'm trying to think, did Steven Spielberg ever have a stinker like that, or was it just Lucas?
Oh, I'm sure he did. I just can't think
of a bad Spielberg movie.
I literally cannot think of a bad Spielberg movie. Perhaps our guests would know.
So is it about that time? Should we go ahead and get ready for that? Because I'm excited to chop it up.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what. Let's go ahead and play the rain video so that we could then bring Ms. Pryor in. Fair enough?
Oh, can I do one more thing really quick? I'd like to do unapologetically. A couple of shout outs I want to do. First of all, I want to shout out our president, Elliot Jackson, because he is the one that after I left as associate producer, 2022 was a rough year for me. So I just want to explain the whole point behind Lena Unapologetic. The name came from Troy, which is Veep here. And he said to me, you've basically had a rough year. I lost my mother in 2022, my father in 2019. My life was a Tyler Perry movie mixed with Jumanji. It was that bad. And he asked me if I want to do a podcast, and I wasn't ready. And I was like, look, I'm not trying to be Oprah here. I'm a cartoonist. And then what Veep said to me was, look, this is your show. You can do anything with it. And one thing I've noticed about you, Lena, is that you often over-explain or feel like people don't get you. This is your chance to unapologetically say what the fuck you gotta say and not worry about, no giving. Say your piece. Not to just be vulgar, but to be honest, to be transparent, and to take a stance on my platform. So I'm grateful to you for that. I'm grateful to Danny, for D-Ray, for even bringing me into Blast. So chef's kiss to all three of you, to Elliot, to Troy, and to D-Ray. You guys are my crew. One of actually quite a few crews I have, but my Blast family, you guys rock.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Had to get that out.
Fair enough. Alrighty. After the video, Miss Rain will be here and we'll go from there.
Awesome.
Let's check this out.
Get the flying fat burger. What's your name? This Bernadette do-gooder sent me here to take a rap for a bad attitude. I did a crime, so I'm doing my time. For rich girls like you who play the I'm white game, give me a major pain and my black is beautiful butt. How can people be so heartless? How can people be so cruel and easy to be hard? Easy to be cold.
Two days before we open the show in New York City. I don't care what borough that we're in. This city is the greatest. It is the only city that fucking matters.
Something else. Her grandfather sang better than Sinatra.
Sunrise, sunset, swiftly flow the days. Seedlings turn overnight to sunflowers, blossoming even as we gaze.
Oh, her grandfather used to say,
money is in managing the big acts, Toots, not becoming one of them.
He say anything else?
Yeah, he said he was going through the park on his way home, and it was like one of those campfire stories, hiding in the bushes, fleshy, sapless, and insipid. Makes my bells shiver just thinking about it.
People ain't feeling safe.
For real? You give them music and then kick them off the dance floor?
It's not a dance floor, it's a library, and I'm the head librarian.
They know that. And they appreciate everything that you've done for them. I appreciate it. And I know it's been an imposition.
Do you want to go or do I want you to go?
I would like to start.
You would like to start? Okay, start.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Black Jewish Gardens. I am Malik Berger.
I'm Rain Pryor.
And today we'd like to do a little public service announcement for you.
For you. Because we care about... There you go.
You.
Every time I see that last part. Good evening, Rain.
Good evening.
Yes, let's definitely do the clap. Yes, that was awesome. I've seen it a couple times, but it's the last part that actually gets me. I love that. So how are you this evening? Thank you for joining us on
Good. Thank you for having me.
This is awesome.
This really is. It's such an honor to meet you.
It's so funny. Can I just say, like, I appreciate that you're like, oh, I'm a fan of hers because I've been following you on Facebook and I'm a fan of yours. And it was so funny when we started talking because I was like, I want to work with her. Like, I want to create some kind of animation it goes both ways. So
okay, my head's not gonna fit on the screen.
Yeah, that's what Miss Pryor.
Miss
Pryor. Miss Pryor. You know not what you have done.
Oh my goodness. Oh my God. I'm sorry, y'all.
It's all good, but I am a day one fan. I am. So I'm like, there's a bunch of questions, but I'm gonna calm it down.
All right.
And get my Oprah on.
Woosah.
So, starting with this itching question I have to ask. Okay. What was your very first role as an actress? Because I know where I came in, a lot of other Gen Xers came in, but what was your very first role?
My very first big role as an actress was head of the class.
It was head of the class. Awesome.
Yep. I was just out of high school. Literally out of high school. I had auditioned 3 years prior to that, and Robin Gibbons got it. I didn't. And then I came back in to audition right after high school, and it was like an open kind of audition. And I went in and I wrote my own monologue, and they said, can you come back tomorrow and write something different? And I created the character of TJ and walked in and I don't even remember, but I wrote a rap because that's when, hip hop was starting to become really popular.
That's right.
And and then I went home and got a call that night.
So I've got to ask, because D-Ray and I both are huge fans of Head of the Class. And I have to say, at that time, there were only a few Black women, few Black female characters on TV who represented the nerd girl population.
Right.
This is what my attraction was. There was you, and much later on, Cree Summer, and Freddie.
Yes.
And of course, Lisa Bonet as Denise Huxtable. That's it. And
Right.
I could be wrong, but I don't remember there being any other blurred girls.
Well, they had, Kimberly Russell, but of course she was more was on Head of the Class, and Robin.
Which brings me to my next question.
Yes.
I want you to unapologetically tell me, what was it like working with Robin Gibbons?
That's a very interesting question, and here's why. Because it was set up for us to butt heads. Like the industry hypes up. So it was like, oh, I'm coming in to replace people, and that's not what happens. And so it caused a lot of friction. And, as I'm a much older adult now, it's been over 20 something years, I can look at it and go, wow, that's the mechanisms that they push in place to kind of create that energy and vibe, and she is a very talented woman.
She is. Yeah. I'm not sure.
I met her with Mike Tyson, so that was a whole nother, dynamic at the time.
Wow.
Yeah.
I kind of want to veer off, but I'm not going to ask questions. As far as I'm concerned, I am a fan of Robin's to a degree. I don't know. She's one of those people that people are very polarized with. Like, you kind of like dig her or you don't.
Because I think what she is a character to people, right? And her character is very uppity. Like, she's that girl that went to the Ivy League school. Like that's her persona, and she has that thing. And for me, it was the first of my, I would say, not kind of my generation of seeing that kind of, even though I went to Beverly Hills High School, those girls didn't act like Robin. They were, they were different. And here was Robin, who kind of presented this upper class, very smooth, the finer things, and kind of lived that out. So I think we all, as viewers of that, had that like animosity and then that appreciation at the same time.
I love how you put that. I really do. That's probably one of the best ways I've ever seen someone summarize Robin, because folks act like she can't come to the cookout. Like she's over there with Omarosa and Candace Owens, and it's not like that. And like, we love you, Robin.
I wonder if she would have been, though, like, had Head of the Class been today, and I know they tried to revamp it, if her character would have been like a Candace Owens. Like, I wonder if they would have gone there with that. That would have been kind of smart, thinking about it.
Actually, it would have. But so I definitely, and then before I move on, there's one other thing I wanted to add from that era. I love that you were on the Kid and Play cartoon.
Yes.
Which character did you voice?
I don't remember the name.
I dig it.
I did. I voiced one of the tough girls on that show. Yeah.
All I know is they got rid of the characters that Tisha Campbell and AJ Johnson played. I'm not sure why, but I just thought that was cool that you're also a voiceover actress as well.
Yes. Yeah.
So before I ask you about some of the other projects, there's another thing that and I want you to be unapologetic about this.
I will.
I'll pick that up about you. You're going to keep it real. So there is this term that is new to me called like Nepo baby. And I was introduced to this term by Jamie Lee Curtis when she won her Oscar.
Right.
And it gave me more compassion because, not unlike yourself, I was a fan of just Jamie Lee Curtis.
Right.
I knew about Janet Leigh and I knew about Tony Curtis later, but I'm coming up in the era of Halloween, so I didn't know about her famous parents.
Right.
Just like with you, when I watched you as TJ, I found out later, like, oh, that's Richard Pryor's daughter.
Right.
You were just one of the 3 women on that show that, for me as a young Black teenager, like, this is who I'm identifying with, because representation matters. So what I want to know from you, what was it like dealing with people always like holding you to the standard of your father?
Okay, let me tell you something. First off, if my dad was involved in my career in the way certain parents can be at times, I'd be really famous. Let's just put that down. I'd be famous.
Thank you. I agree.
My mom were like, if you want this, go out and get it yourself.
Yeah, I believe
they
that.
gave me the lessons I wanted. If I wanted acting lessons, if I wanted dance lessons, they would do that. But their whole thing was, I remember auditioning for Head of the Class, and my mom was like, take the bus, find a way there.
I'm not mad at that.
Nepo baby all you want. It hasn't worked for me in that way that maybe at times it has. I think where people expect Richard Pryor is, if it's something humorous, they expect like automatically I have that, I can grab a mic and do stand-up. I did stand-up. I wasn't great at it. I did it because my dad thought I'd be a great stand-up, and knowing that's what he did for his life, I'm gonna try it.
I love that.
But that's huge shoes to fill. That's like, he set the standard. So like, coming into it as a female, I didn't fail, but I didn't have that, and I didn't love it. Like, he loved it. I do not love stand-up. I love watching it. I love critiquing it, but it was not for me.
I know we're coming up on a very hard break here, but I have to ask a question.
Yes, sir.
Did it make it more difficult because of who your father was? And not just the talent, but the reputation, the
Absolutely.
Whatever. Did it make,
It did make it difficult because so 2 things. Everyone was always, she's so talented or she's so great. She looks just like her dad. Like, that was an issue for some reason. I'm going to look like the man. Like, I'm not going to get a face job. I'm not going to change who I am to fit into some box. you know, and I was also very outspoken because that is what he taught me to do.
It came naturally, I would imagine.
Yeah. So that that was another thing. You can't put me in a room and have me not comment on the character or the situation, especially if at the time it was, you know, politically not right. I'm going to speak up because it was that era, right? So, yeah.
That brings me to another question, because let me say this. D-Ray and I both are huge fans of your father. I'm kind of like, it's more like who wasn't a fan of Richard Pryor.
Yes.
My dad, may he rest in heaven, his name is Richard Hopkins. And matter of fact, this picture right behind me with the yellow, with the guy with the dreadlocks, that's one of my father's paintings. Not only do I have my own artwork on the wall, but I surround myself with my father's work. It comforts me now that he's no longer here. And I feel like you're a daddy's girl just like I am.
Yes.
Okay.
Very much.
So what I would like to know, and we have a cartoon to go with this to cue up, again, unapologetically, what do you think Richard Pryor would have to say about what's going on in comedy right now with specifically 3 comedians, Chris Rock, Marlon Wayans, and Monique? Because I've seen all 3 of their stand-ups, and let me be clear, I am a fan of all 3. My favorite was Marlon Wayans, and I want to throw this out not just to Rain, but to those in the chat. If you have an opinion on either of the 3, Chris Rock, Marlon Wayans, Monique, express yourself about those comedians. Because
you want me to do that now or when we come back?
Let's just show the cartoon and then come back. This was my take on Monique.
Richard Pryor.
Okay.
Fire the intern.
Hey, this is the pilot show. It's all good. It's coming. But yeah, I definitely would like your opinion on 3 of them. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, you live in the same city as Monique, or you're from the area where she's from.
I live in Baltimore, where she was originally
originally. Okay, you guys kind of switched. You were in Los Angeles, and
I know.
But while that is getting ready to play, I would like to know your thoughts on that, because I'm not a comedian. You grew up with the GOAT.
Listen, I think
without question,
comedy is one of those things, like, you either like it or you don't. You love it, you hate it, you get it, you don't. It was never, comedy was supposed to be, all the time that it's done, is a comment on society, on who we are. My dad told stories and told his truth on the stage. You know, to me, that's what Monique did. She told her own truth on the stage the way she saw fit. Now, I've seen Monique live, so I already knew what we were watching, you know, and I heard the different kind, you know, of comments that people had about it. And the truth is that she was telling her truth unapologetically on that stage, regardless of whether or not you liked her language. She spoke Baltimore. That's how those girls in Baltimore, East Side or West Side, right, they come at you. And
I can respect that, yeah.
And she is that. That's the thing. I think people expect people to be how we see them on certain sitcoms, you know, but they don't really know their stand-up. Her stand-up is that. So for me, I got it. Like, I was like, oh, I didn't get all the, you know, we talked about this.
We did. On your social media, because I was like, I would have liked a couple of jokes in between all those shit, motherfucker, cunt, dick, pussy, ass, you know, just one joke, just one.
That's how she relates, because she was giving us street corner. She was giving us playing the dozens, but in front of an audience.
Now that you're right.
I think for me, let's say, I wish I had directed it, because I think I would have added those elements on her stage, on her set, so we knew that's where she was kind of coming from. You know, to have that blank canvas, I think, kind of distracted us who are laymen in terms of stand-up, what that was. You know, so I really liked it. I saw Chris Rock live. I thought it was absolutely great. Again, he spoke his truth.
I loved his.
he gave his thing. People have comments about that. You either loved it or you didn't. You know, I love Marlon Wayans. I have not seen his stand-up, so I can't.
This was my favorite of the three.
Right. You know, but again, he's a specific kind of stand-up. Do you know what I mean? If you go to Chris, you're gonna get a mixture of like the nice black boy that grew up in a certain neighborhood. If you get Monique, you're gonna get Hood. If you get Cat Williams, you're gonna get, you know, Monique and Cat in the, you know what I'm saying? It's
right. I like how you put that.
Pryor, you're gonna get Richard Pryor. But if you get Rain Pryor, you're not gonna get Richard Pryor. You know what I mean? So there's a difference.
You know, I'm beginning to see, some of our audience may not know this, but Rain actually is also a politician. She ran for mayor of Baltimore.
I ran for city council.
Oh, I'm sorry, my bad. City council. Okay. Throw these notes away.
I am ready for mayor. I wasn't ready for no mayor.
Okay, so we got to do the Blast Artist of the Week, but just a rhetorical question. We can just all think about what your father would have done if somebody would have tried to come up on the stage.
Ooh,
when he's doing his stand-up.
There would have been a fight.
I think we knew the answer to that.
I honestly think there are people. You know,
a fight. There would have been the bodyguards. Then there would have been a bigger fight, and then the rest of the show just would have been one long.
I love it. I love it. Oh, that is awesome. I believe that.
Okay, so we're gonna bring Troy back on here to introduce the Blast Artist of the Week.
Yes, indeed, and even D-Ray wants to lose money calling people's government name on the show, but that's all right.
Oh, did I do that? I was thinking about, you know what? I was thinking about her father's stand-up. That's what I did.
It's all good.
I'm gonna cash app you that 35 cents.
It's all good. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are doing a Blast Artist of the Night, which is Elsie Montanez.
I love this song.
It's called Let Me Love You. Check out the lyrics. Read the lyrics. It's awesome.
Baby, don't underestimate my love. I'm a lot tougher than my look. It's crazy what they say about me. They say I'm strange and wild, but I let you read me like an open book. But only you. I might be tender, I might be soft, I might surprise you with how hard I go fight for your love. Baby, I want ya, I gotta have ya. Baby, I need ya. If you let me love you, honey, I can promise I only wanna please you. Baby, now do you feel me? Could I get any more real? Could I bear how I feel any more than this? If you want it, it won't be easy, but I promise, if you're honest, you're never gonna go a day without my love. Baby, if you want it, you gotta have it. Baby, if you need it, if I let you love me, you gotta promise and only love is sweet. Baby, let me love you like you're mine. Hey, you're never gonna have to guess how I feel. Yes, honey, I'll always keep it real. Gonna take
That's my girl.
I hear you, D-Ray.
Love it.
Muted, D-Ray.
Yeah, I was getting excited. That song need to come with a child support and indemnity clause. I was like, somebody getting knocked up after that one.
Just like, woo!
Wow.
I thought it was just me. We love you, Kelsey.
Yeah. I called Kelsey my Pat Benatar 2.0. Yeah.
I'm getting pink from her. What do you think, Rain? Do you get pink from her?
I'm getting a little pink. I'm getting a little like Grace Slick. Like she has a nice rawness.
Almost like Heart.
That's a good one too.
Yeah.
Baby, let me love you like I was like, oh, like that grit. It's nice.
I had to choose the song of the night, and I told the fellas, I was like, I feel like Rain will be with me on this artist right here.
Yeah.
So I had to ask that.
So real quick, I just want to say this.
Sorry.
Now, if you are an independent artist, or even a spoken word poet, or even an up-and-coming comedian that would like some exposure, you can go to blastmusic247.com and register for free. That's blastmusic247.com, changing the industry one artist at a time. All right, y'all.
Thank you. So now, Rain, I want to ask you about what projects you're working on right now, because I was talking to a friend of mine the other day who was also a fan of Head of the Class, and he was like, is she on a TV show? And I was like, no, she's behind the scene doing the thing. Just get ready. So I know that you are a fellow fan of science fiction, Afrofuturism. So I would like you to tell us a little bit more about some of the projects that you're working on right now, including one that hits close to home that I believe you won a Sundance Award for, your one-woman show.
Yes,
I would love to hear more about that, because I don't know which one I'm more excited, the semi-autobiographical one or the Afrofuturism one, because they're both exciting.
Well, look, the industry is the industry. It's getting ready to shut down in the middle of everything, which is interesting. So one more time, it's like I'm putting things on hold at the moment. But I have I have my passion project, which I call Fried Chicken and Latkes, which is based on my solo show. Have won awards for it. Was nominated for an NAACP award, won an NAACP award for Fried Chicken and Latkes. It then was picked up from Norman Lear's company and MGM to become a series, and then COVID hit and it kind of went, and I went away and decided I was going to write the pilot episode, did that. Still working with the same amount of people, and we're out there pitching it again, and hopefully close to something. But then now there's going to be a writer's strike, so kind of it's another, but it happens. That's the world, right? And then my other project that I wrote is called Ancestors. But there's Ancestors, the series, which is being looked at by a well-known talent, but I can't say who yet, to direct it. I'm very excited about her in terms of directing it for series. But at the same time, I am directing the film version called A Journey to Destiny, and we start filming in September in Nigeria. Awesome. So I got my first funding for that, and I'm so excited. And it's about a girl's journey into Ifa, and the fact that she realizes her destiny is to avenge her father's death.
Now, you are a Yoruba priestess as well, right?
I am.
Okay.
A priestess of Oshun. I should say I am a priestess of Oshun. I don't practice the priesthood in terms of like, I'm not taking calls and doing divination for people, because I'm still learning. I'm still in my practice. I'm actually, Because
I just want to say for the record, because you're a hyphen girl, a hyphen woman.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got actress, singer, writer, author, director. I'm missing one. Producer.
Yes.
Okay. And so I just wanted to kind of show a little something. When Rain was telling me about Fried Chicken and Latkes, I kind of had my own little take on it, my cartoon take. And to my right, D-Ray, the producer, did the music for it. So we kind of want to show you like what we did with it real quick. So here's the cartoon interpretation of fried chicken and latkes?
Richard Pryor.
And I always be thinking about my career or something.
I'm just saying. I love that so much.
Thank you.
Dope.
Thank you so much.
Well done. Well done.
And Lena, the art, everything. It's so great.
Thank you.
All right, speaking of Do-It.
Uh-oh.
Take it away, G-Ray. Go ahead.
No. What did you just say, Rain? She missed it.
Do it.
She said, when are y'all gonna do it?
Yeah.
When we gonna make it happen? You know,
that's see what happened is.
While Lena gets herself together. Two things. Number one, when I was thinking about when she asked me to do it, there's a thought that is trapped in my mind. It is the beginning of your dad's Sunset Strip, where he's walking into the auditorium with the SOS band, Just Be Good to Me, which as a kid, that was the dopest intro I had ever seen, right? So I wanted your music to be funky, just like that. Your father also had a part in one of his stand-ups where he talked about his monkeys dying.
Yeah.
And I'm going to have a segue here. And the Dobermans, the Dobermans came over and was like, "Oh, your monkey's died," you know, and they gave him some empathy. And then right before they left, we're going to be chasing your ass again tomorrow. Right? I have always used that when I, talk to people about this industry, because this entertainment industry has a way of conditioning you to be an apex predator. And right, this business has a way.
She got stories.
Yeah. This business has a way of turning you into a Doberman, and the thing that's sometimes the most hardest thing is to stop being a Doberman for just a minute and to give some advice, to give some counsel, to say, hey, don't do that. This is why you should not do that. Now, when you go and do it anyway, I'm not going to save you because I'm going back to hunt, but don't say that I didn't warn you. How do you give advice to up and coming creative entrepreneurs, whatever field that they're in?
Absolutely, I do. First of all, being someone that is part of the IFA community, the IFA worldwide, in terms of my spirituality, right? I'm of African descent. I speak African language in terms of that spirituality, and part of that is to help and bring up the next generation to make it better. And so if there's anything that I can impart to another person, especially someone in an industry such as entertainment, which is very difficult and can at times be very trying, right? I know for myself, I took myself out of Hollywood. That's why you don't see me all around. I wanted a life. I wanted to gain my center and myself and my goddess self and who I am, and I own it. So you can't now take that away from me. And so now what I get to teach others is how to own themselves in the process of getting pulled in a million directions, how to stand firm in your ancestral roots, and how to stand firm and be a good person and show up and to know what your limits are and your boundaries, and to really present that forward. It's very exciting.
See, this is one of the reasons why I just naturally was just feeling, I was like, I got to meet you. I'm loving this. Carla just said in the audience, she's an upcoming actress and comedian, that this is awesome. The inspiration you're throwing out to people right now listening to this, I'm motivated just hearing it.
Listen, one of my greatest mentors who's passed, Melvin Van Peebles, said, don't wait for Hollywood. Create your own stuff.
I love that.
And
sweet, that badass song.
It is facts, and it's also hard to do because that means you have to get out there, dig in the dirt, get your hands dirty, get your palms dirty, like me making different trips to Africa dirty, so I can
pull up your sleeves. Right.
I can do the studying, and sometimes the money comes quick, sometimes it doesn't, but you have to keep your intention pure. Where is it you want to go? Don't give up if you have the dream, and also study. Be a master in it. What is it? We said it yesterday. Stacy my friend downstairs, we said it like what is it? Master of none.
Jack of all trades, master of none.
Master of none. Stay focused in your intention. And for me, I've limited a lot of things from my life so that I could stay very focused in writing scripts, very focused in direction, because that's where I want to be. And so as an actor, you have to stay the same course and don't allow people to push you off your path. And yes, if you have to work that extra job to make that extra money to get you to where you need to go, then do that. But don't change who you are to be that thing. That's all I'm going to say.
Amen. Pass the collection plate.
Yes. I couldn't agree more. You kind of answered my next question, but I'm going to repeat it to reiterate it. I'm just loving what you just said right there. That's awesome advice no matter what discipline you're in, I think.
Yes.
As a visual artist, that meant a lot to me to hear, to stay my path. Because I'll be honest, Danny and I've had that talk before where he's like, yeah, you're upset because that didn't happen. You missed the train on that. But what if you make your own train? You don't miss your own train.
That's right.
And I thought about that and I was like, that's the point.
And first off, there's no missing trains. It wasn't for you.
Yes, ma'am.
Because if it was for you, you would have gotten the ticket and you would have been on that train. So
love it.
Those are the things I'm learning in this life. That I haven't missed out on something because I wasn't there at this specific time. I will be there when I'm supposed to.
I love this. My friend Brandon Tedre Martin, my high school friend from WC, just said you're an awesome guest, and I couldn't agree more. And he loves comedy, but your advice, you're naturally funny. I follow you on social media and all that, but what you're saying right here for any up and coming or seasoned artists like ourselves, it means the world to hear. So I wanted to ask you a couple more things before we wrap, and I could talk for another 2 hours. What about Hollywood do you not miss, if I may ask that? That was a question I was curious about.
The using. I don't miss the using. I don't miss the culture. I'm not into it. Like, I'm not into what kind of car do you have. I love all that stuff. Like, sometimes I want to wear all the pretty, nice designer, whatever, but I don't want to spend that kind of money trying to impress other people that don't know me. Like, I'm at a certain age now where I'm raising a beautiful child, and I want her to grow up with confidence and a maturity and emotional intelligence, and have it not be predicated by what she has on, what kind of what she drives, what zip code we live in, and that's why I married my husband, because when I was supposed to be Rain Pryor and didn't have the Rain Pryor finances, he gave to me and said, how can I make your life better?
Oh, wow. Shout outs to Dave Vale.
Not what I could do for him. Do you know what I mean? What he could do for me. And that's a partnership, right? It's never 50-50. Sometimes you have more, sometimes you have less. You give to each other. But that's the one thing I don't miss about Hollywood. No.
Enough said. I love that. Gosh, I could keep asking more about that. And want to just say a shout out to Lotus, if I may.
Yeah.
Very talented artist. She just had a birthday, and I love the watercolors that I've seen. I don't know. I wanted to, I'm pausing right now because I'm not sure how much time we have left. Oh, we're out of time. Okay. So, I guess I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. I really could talk for another hour.
Thank you so much for Lena, for everybody for having me and picking me as one of your first guests to help.
Absolutely.
Your radio podcast. Thank you.
Listen, would you be willing to come back to discuss Afrofuturism and ancestors? Because, okay, I'll take it as a yes, because I want to talk even more about that. You and I love Octavia Spencer.
Yes, I love,
and
first of all, Octavia Butler is the reason I moved to Baltimore, Maryland. One of the finest Black sci-fi writers and Afrofuturism.
Yeah.
Before Afrofuturism was Afrofuturism.
Exactly. And I would give you Toni Morrison too. A lot of people don't see her as a sci-fi writer, but Beloved, that ain't nothing but sci-fi. So, okay, we're going to talk about that later. Thank you all for coming in tonight. To everybody that tuned in. I'll be back next week with Lena unapologetically Lena saying what I have to say about this, that, and the other. Thank you. Good night. And hopefully see you next week. Wow.